back on the grind again, with my systematic takedown of the Unova region. If this Genlocke is proving something, it is the fact that having a Heracross readily available might make the games a bit easier than intended. But anyway, not wasting any time, after some quick bits of plot that lands us in Driftvale City, we waste even less time in catching Gentaro, the timber, down by the cold storage, after which we seek out and take care of the Team Plasma goons hiding in there before the plot intervention, and then we catch Patty the Alamomola offshore of Driftvale. Now was the time to prepare for Clay, and while he is not quite the run killer as Elisa, he is not a pushover. His Krokorok can trip you up with his Swagger and Torment combo, but if you're faster and hit him hard enough, you won't have too much of an issue, especially because it doesn't have Intimidate. Palpitoad is a bulky frog carrying Aqua Ring to restore his HP and Muddy Water to lower your accuracy. If you have a grass type move, try to take out Palpitoad quick, before it snowballs. Thankfully we can use Grass Knot from the Pinwheel Forest to do that. Then comes his X-Drill, sporting 135 base attack, Slash, Bulldoze, Rock Slide, and even Hone Claws to increase accuracy so he doesn't miss the Rock Slide. Things can get ugly if you're not prepared for this wall breaker. General tips for taking care of Clay and his gym honestly boils down to getting a water type and teaching it Scald, since you picked that technical machine up inside of the cold storage we were just at. A Pokémon that can use Grass Knot like I mentioned earlier, and of course, Herdier or Stoutland with their Intimidate ability, and Dig and Return as their general moves to use. You can also use a Leech Seed stall strategy with Roggenrola or Boldore if it has Sturdy, if you have the money and healing to supplement it. As for my strategy, Artemis, Moxie boosting through the gym, she kinda just didn't care about whatever stood in her way, and like I alluded to earlier, in the future challenges, if I do them, I might have to ban myself from using Heracross this early in the game. After beating Clay, we have a friendly spat with Bianca to get the HM for Fly, so now we can easily yeet ourselves anywhere in the region if need be. Catch Tony the Deerling and then Marceline the Woobat over Mistraldon Cave, before we head on to Sargstrom Cave itself. Home of some of my favorite Pokemon in the entire franchise. Joltik, Tynamo, Ferroseed, amazing encounters that will all be valuable assets to the team. And then I encounter a Clink. Yup, the one encounter that I really don't like in Sargstrom Cave. Charo the Clink it is, and we continue forward on our journey. After arriving in Mistralton, some plot happens and we can go and gather some new teammates. The first one being RJ Thunder, the Zebstrika, and inside of the Celestial Tower we find and capture Perona the Litwick, who is going to get very important later on. Other than that, all the battles in the Celestial Tower are more or less cakewalks, so we can move on and talk about Skyla. Skyla's team consists primarily of speedy, flying type Pokemon, and while they have speed, they don't have much else. Her Swoobat could end up chucking your team a bit with acrobatics, and Infestant's Razorwind as well. But other than that, not much else. Swanna can catch you off guard with her flinching Air Slash and Aqua Ring to restore health, and Bubble Beam can actually end up chunking a Pokemon that you'd think could actually withstand the hit, but can't withstand a Bubble Beam. Stuff happens, you know, but at this late in the game, we have options to deal with Skyla. Every Pokemon you catch inside the Sargstrom Cave, bar Tynamo, are usable when it comes to taking down her Swanna. Even Clink can end up chunking that bird. Otherwise, you can just go with Old Faithful in terms of a Boldore, who will take a hit if he has Sturdy, or you can find a hard scale and teach Startland how to use Thunderfang, once again showing how useful this dog is for the general run. Or you can even go for the guaranteed pickup of Tirtuga if you don't want to pick up an Archon like I did. Also, if you haven't picked up a Zebstrika yet, that is one of the potential encounters on Route 7 as well, because I got RJ Thunder over there. Other than that, a general tip is just use any Pokemon with a little bit of defense and utilizing the Eviolite you can pick up in Castelia if it is applicable. You'll find a Pokemon that can do something to Skyla's team, unless you've already lost them all or something. My strategy was pretty straightforward. Lead with Briny, who's evolved into a Gigalith, set up the Stealth Rocks, then either click Smackdown or Rock Blast, or switch to Henrik and click Thunderfang. Didn't even need Artemis for this one! Skipping ahead a bit, the next gym leader is Bryson, And he's not really an issue. The game gives you the option to buy Brick Break at the Pokémon Center before the battle, so only his bear tick is of an actual issue, as we can see here, where even Milan gets knocked out by the bear. Anyway, bear tick is more or less as dangerous as Clay's Excadrill, but with a bit more natural bulk to it, but a lot more weaknesses. Stoutland's Intimidate will once again come in handy here, Girder with an Evil Edge should also do the trick, Seismitoad and Scrafty also get the job done. As long as you don't get hit by Swagger, but you can hold a Person Berry or a Lumberry for that. Other than that, I don't have much else to say about this part of the game. The Bryson battle is the only thing of note, and my encounters aren't really going to change anything, so let's just end this quickly and move on. With Bryson defeated, Team Plasman starts putting their next phase of the plan into motion, with N awakening Reshiram. So now it's up to us to stop him, but to do so, we need to learn how to get our hands on a legendary dragon of our own. And to do that, we first need to defeat the Dragon-type gym leader of Abolition City, Iris. Slightly abridged. Before I could face her though, I had a commitment to fulfill. But before that, let's talk about these Dragon Masters in depth. Iris and Drayden, depending on the version you're playing, has the exact same team, just with different genders. This is actually irrelevant because Fracture has the ability Rivalry, which boosts the damage by 25% when facing a Pokemon of the same gender. Fracture also has Dragon Dance, but if it uses Dragon Dance against you, it can't knock you out on the next turn unless you are weak to it as Surens and have very low defenses. So just don't use a dark weak Pokemon and hit Fracture really hard. Druddigon has an arsenal of Revenge, Dragon Tail, Night Slash and Chip Away. Once again, be wary of your dark weak Pokemon and be mindful of Revenge when facing it. Also, Drayden's Druddigon has Rock Skin, careful of that, but otherwise it shouldn't give you that much of an issue. Then we have Haxorus the Glass Cannon standing in your way at the end, and this big guy can either tear your team to shreds or be a laughingstock. Don't let it set out too many Dragon Dances, but even if it does, it might still go for Dragon Tail and render itself wide open for attacks. It's almost entirely up to how the AI approaches the battle. If you can cheese it, good for you, but try to take this menace down as quickly as you can. For your best chance against Iris and Drayden, we can once again turn to Stoutland, with Intimidate and Ice Fang as solid options to deal with anything they throw at you, or even use Roar to forcibly switch one of them out if you really need to render the Dragon Dances mute. There's also Beartic and Vanillish, who can snipe them with Ice Beam or Icicle Crash respectively, Boldor physically tanking all their hits with an Eviolite, and crippling the dragons with Toxic, or even Amoonguss, who can reset the Dragon Dance buffs with Clear Smog and cripple with Spore. I opened the battle by sending a message, sending out Helios, now a fully evolved Volcarona, who then proceeds to send her Fracture to Kingdom Come with the Heat Wave. Yes, I did overlevel and evolve Helios just to use Volcarona in this gym, even if just to take out her Fracture, simply because I wanted to. Her Druddigon then gets dispatched by Henrik's Intimidate and Return combo, and finally, her Haxorus fails miserably in dealing with Briny, as his Toxic whittles her down, winning me the 8th badge. I easily take care of the victory road to make my way to the league, and now it was time to set up for the final team and take on the Elite Four, N and Ghetsis in the final showdown. 1 month later, after a lot of grinding, a haircut, and getting sidetracked by Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, it was time to take on the league with the brand new squad specifically built to handle this final gauntlet, and give us some solid options when we go into Generation 6. The first battle against Chantal is won solely by Perona the Chandelure, who spent EV trained to max her speed and special attack, and holding a spell tag, so she's guaranteed to knock out all of Chantal's ghost types with 1 Shadow Ball each. Next up we have Grimsley and his dark types, Rupert the Archeops one-shots Scrafty with Acrobatics, Ichika the Medicham one-shots Bisharp, Lashona the Seismitoad out-tanks his Liepard, and the critical hit Scald then takes out his Crocodile. Caitlyn's Psychic-type team suffered the same fate as Chantal's Ghost types, total domination by Perona, which is a bit of a design flaw with this Elite Four. Having 2 trains with the same weakness and pretty much the same stat distribution means a solid Dark with Ghost type can just waltz over both of them. And this is also why I said Perona would be useful back in the Celestial Tower. Finally, we have Marshall. Rupert deals with his troll the same way he dealt with Scrafty. Lashana then takes care of Sock with a Scald Burn, followed by Rupert one-shotting both Conkeldurr and Miansha with a set of acrobatics. Now that we've made a complete joke out of the Elite Four, we go to face Alder, and you know how the story goes. We infiltrate Team Plasma's castle and get ready to face N. We catch Zekrom in the Master Ball, but we're not going to use him at all, because we have someone stronger. Tiamat the Guardian returns, and she completely wallops N's Reshiram with a single Earthquake, because Guardian is stupid broken, and I love it! Ichika then lands one more assist, taking out Vanillux with no problem. I send Rupert out against Klinklang to scout with U-turn to check if this is his Zoroark. It isn't, so I switch to Tiamat and grind the gears with another Earthquake. N's own Archeops comes out, gets shipped by Lashana's Rocky Helmet, and then dies to Scald Burn. We then stall out N's Zoroark's Focus Blast attacks with Lashana, as she's the only one that can safely tank those hits, while getting healed. And then finally, she uses Grass Knot to knock Caracaso's HP to 1, and then the turtle chips itself on the Rocky Helmet and falls. With N taken care of, we now go straight into the final battle, with Ghetsis and his powerhouse of a team. Tiamat gets toxic by Kofagrigis, but she does manage to take it down with a set of crunches, without falling herself. Ghetsis then instantly goes into his Hydreigon, and this is where Lashana and her tanky prowess shines. What follows is a lengthy session of me healing after every attack from Hydreigon and Bouffalant until they finally go down. Is this stupid? Yes. Is it boring? Kinda. Do I care? A little bit. But this is the game I play, when I allow use of items, and you do what you gotta do when you need to beat Ghetsis. Lashana then proceeds to mangle Ghetsis' own Seismitoad, as well as his Bisharp. Manny gets to come in and land a single blow on Electros, just reminding us all that he is here, even if he didn't do much this time around. And then Lashana takes down the floating eel. And that was Unova. Finally completed after way too much procrastination on my part. I don't know why, but it's getting increasingly difficult to keep up the motivation to work on this. Maybe it is burnout or just my own depression taking the wheel, but I really wish I could be more consistent with these because they are fun to do. Oh well, what's important is that we are done, and now we're gearing up for Pokémon X and the Kalos region. And we have quite a selection of Pokémon to take with us this time. First, we have the 5 MVPs from the Gym Leader battles. Lillipup, Heracross and Larvesta are not available as encounters through normal means in a regular playthrough, while Roggenrola and Venipede are now removed from the Reflection Cave and Route 6 encounters respectively, so I can get a brand new encounter there more likely now. Then we get a team of 6 that helped us with the League. Arshan and Timpole are not available in a normal playthrough, so that's 2 good additions. Meanwhile, Litwick, Meditite, Gibble, and Swinub are encounters I could get, so now they are removed from their respective encounter tables at the Lost Hotel, Route 13, the Connecting Cave, and the Frost Caverns respectively. It's taken a while to get here, but I don't think we're going to be in Kalos for long, as X and Y are some of the easiest games in the entire franchise, if not the easiest games overall, but we'll see what happens, and hopefully I don't take ages to complete that as well. But that is all I have for now. Let's stay on the hype train for Scarlet and Violet, and I'll see you all next time. Coboclaw signing out. Peace.